This is where you start talking.
Welcome to PopCorn Spoilers, our new show that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to join the conversation. I'm Dylan Bowden.
I'm Ryan Betson.
And today we are talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
A week later than anticipated, thanks to my amazing appendix removal. Yeah, my innards got really mad at me. I've got these chairs are higher. Oh, for those of you that are watching as well, you'll also notice our sexy new backdrop. It's all nice and changed. Look at that. Can you see it in the TV there? Can you see it? Ryan Landis, how are you, my friend? So we should obviously get it right out of the way. This is going to be nothing but Star Wars: The Last Jedi spoilers.
Yeah, and so if you haven't seen Star Wars already, then you're not a Star Wars fan, so get lost. If you have seen Star Wars: The Last Jedi already, and you like it, then you're also not a Star Wars fan, so get lost.
But we also do have some reference material here.
I went to the library.
So if one of us goes on a little tirade in the wrong factual direction, we can check ourselves, we wreck ourselves.
So we won't get any last names mispronunciated.
Very important. And Lee Wintershoven's in there as well. He says hello everyone and Happy New Year to you, Lee. Now I know Lee's seen Star Wars. He's pretty keen to talk about it. So how do you want to kick this off? Because this is your little baby. Do you want to talk general chats first?
Let's see. I haven't asked you what you think of Star Wars.
Okay, well, while we're chatting about what we thought of Star Wars, you guys jump in the chat. My friend's mic is out. Oh shit! Hang on.
My friend's mic. That's me.
I have a wound. I have a wound. Can you move, please? I'll just have to crawl, I guess.
No, don't crawl. His gut's gonna.
That's.
Anyway, so let's talk about Star Wars: The Last Jedi, directed by Rian Johnson, who also wrote the movie. Solo credit, I believe. Wrote and directed the movie. Now, Rian Johnson. Do you like Rian Johnson?
You're plugged into the wrong thing. I do.
When was the first time?
Ow. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Rian Johnson. I really enjoyed Looper. I haven't seen anything else though. That's all I've seen.
You haven't seen.
And Craig's here as well. Hey, Craig.
Have you seen his episodes of Breaking Bad?
What? Did you do Breaking Bad?
He directed the Fly one.
Oh, like that's one of the best episodes.
Whole episode, and he also directed the Train one, where they heisted the train.
Oh my. Okay, so he's literally directed 2 of the best episodes of Breaking Bad.
I'm sure the one where spoilers. There's Breaking Bad spoilers in here as well.
Yes.
Hank dies.
Oh. Spoilers.
That episode.
Shit, hot damn. I had no idea he did that many things. I'm pretty stoked. It's still off.
Jesus Christ. We're having some difficulties. You can't even
Talking to that.
We're having some technical difficulties. So, folks.
Hey, can you hear me now? I think you can hear me. Oh, my groin.
So anyway, Star Wars: The Last Jedi has come out and caused a lot of controversy. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people hate it. Really. What did I think of Star Wars: The Last Jedi? When I left the cinema, I had my phone out and I recorded my rant that went for about all the way from the cinema to the car to home to sitting in the car for another 30 minutes. He can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, and there's a lot of good things about the Star Wars: The Last Jedi. There's a lot of not so good things, and that's what we're here to talk about today.
I think you're using Josh's microphone. Check the labeling underneath. Yep, that's why. It was not so good. It's all sorted now. We're all good.
Oh, this is good now?
I think we're all good now. I'm all sweaty, and my tummy hurts.
You are bleeding through the shirt.
Very likely. But yeah, let's talk Star Wars. So while we'll have a little bit of a chat about what we think about the movie, and you guys write your little paragraphs down below, and we'll go from there. I enjoyed it. I've seen it twice. First time I saw it, I was left a little bit sour. Enjoyed it.
Why though?
But sour. I feel that there was some really, I don't want to say interesting choices. There were some weird choices, especially in particular. Once again, open spoilers. With who's the purple chick?
Holdo.
Laura. Holdo. I almost said Hando. But yeah, with Laura Dern. As what's her name?
Holdo.
Holdo. Her whole plan and the whole subplot with Poe, absolute horseshit. The first time I saw it, I'm like, this is so dumb.
Vice Admiral
Holdo. I thought that was
Amelin Holdo.
I thought that was garbage. I'm like, why the fuck didn't she? If yes, granted, he was demoted in that previous conversation, so obviously he's not privy to that information now. But you know he's going to do some shit. Just go, oi, this is the plan.
Yeah, but they had just realized that they were being tracked through hyperspace, light speed, and they assumed that there was a spy on the ship.
Yeah.
No, they didn't, because it was never mentioned. That's what they said. Yeah, that was no. The first I'm going to start with the positives.
We'll go overall thoughts, but I did enjoy it. The second time made me enjoy it more because it showed me a couple little issues that I had were explained. Not all of them, but some were like, there were little comments and stuff that kind of really, I'm like, because a lot of the Holdo stuff, I'm like, okay, cool. No, because there's a lot of little lines that I missed, but overall I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that it is really a Star Wars movie. while also not being a Star Wars movie, I do certainly think this is a new... This is not our Star Wars. This is the next generation Star Wars. For whatever that means. And like, as in like, we're looking at it, I'm like, okay, it's not the prequels. It's not the original trilogy. It's got tastes of all of it. But they've used Rian Johnson to come in and shape a new Star Wars. And I think that's the biggest issue people are having with it. Which Ryan Lander seems to agree. He says, I really liked it too. I love that it wasn't predictable. And I'm so glad that it wasn't, quote, formula driven. Like, there were some formulaic aspects in terms of, you know, there were not as blatant as Force Awakens with almost being a New Hope ripoff. There are a lot of Empire in this.
Yeah, well, there is and there isn't.
Yeah.
There is if you
like,
look
there's some super obvious Empire shit, and then but surrounding it is something totally different. All right, your turn.
Well, I'll go through it as it plays out as well, but just overall, yeah. With my main gripe is that J.J. Abrams worked hard with Disney to create the new Star Wars, and a lot of people argued that it was a remake of A New Hope, essentially, where they have some data, some information that's top secret that's going to help them. They put it in a droid. The droid goes to a desert planet, ends up with a scrappy little person that lives all alone on this island with greater dreams of being something better and has secret powers. They take down a Death Star, Starkiller Base, whatever you want to call it. It's a round thing that explodes when you shoot it at a certain point. Yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, what their goal was to wash the bad taste of the prequels out of people's mouths, introduce new elements that would continue the saga going forward for 3 movies for the next trilogy, and also bring back some of your beloved characters. So Leia was in it. Han was in it. Luke was in it, technically.
Yep.
Chewie was in it. C-3PO, R2-D2. But then they had awesome characters. Like Rey was cool. Finn was cool. Poe was cool. And then they introduced Snoke, and like, oh, what's Snoke? Hux was even fun.
Yep.
So it succeeded in doing that. And there was enough new stuff to be like, hey, you know, this is cool. And it's a starting point. Then this one is like, okay, now that we've given you the bridge, now we're going to do our own thing.
Which I personally appreciate, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people didn't like. My main gripes are, like you said, just logic things, and I'm like, that's dumb in the sense of the movie's logic, sense of the world they're living in and the moments that are happening, as well as you could write it better. So, you know, it's not just the story or the characters, it's a movie that's formulated. You could have done that better. But there are a lot of good things as well.
Yep.
But I'll tell you what. So from the start, it was cool. Like the start when the Star Destroyer is there, and Poe Dameron turns up in a single ship, and talking smack, and he's like on hold. Like General Hux is just like way over the top. Like his eyebrows are painted more. He's yelling and shouting way more than he usually would. He's just like camping it up.
He's doing his it's always known that the Empire is very Nazi-esque, and like they've got him doing like they almost had him doing like a Hitler fucking thing at not intentional, a Hitler thing at, you know, at the Starkiller Base.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah.
You know, and he's doing it here as well. He's doing the like walking. He's got the suit. He's got that aggression, and he's just fucking anger.
And then that's broken by Poe Dameron being a smartass.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I like the on-hold moment. I mean, people are like, hold is like such a modern thing. It's dumb. Like, they wouldn't do that in Star Wars. But then at the same time, in A New Hope, like Han Solo's like, hi, how are you? He's talking in the cell block. Yeah. He's talking on the microphone. So that happened. And in...
Evening Pinch, how you doing?
Leia says, want me to get out and push when the Millennium Falcon's a piece of crap. So there's precedent for that.
Yeah.
But then when he takes down the Star Destroyer, awesome, because the resistance.
We mean the Juggernaut, yeah.
The Dreadnought, yeah.
Dreadnought, sorry.
So the Resistance do what Like the Empire have mass and war firepower. They've got all this might behind them. The Resistance don't, so they got to do wild, crazy shit. And he's like one pilot, but he's close enough under the shields to be able to blow out the things. So that's cool. But then it turns into Battlestar Galactica, and they're on this slow chase. And that was the first time I'm just like, hang on, what? Like, they're outside of the range of the lasers, so they can bombard them, so just constant like noise
Get
coming
the shits
at them.
up them, yeah.
Exactly, so they're under pressure, but they can't go faster. They can't send like 2 TIE fighters with Kylo Ren went out and blew up the bridge. They can't send 100 TIE fighters out and just destroy them now. Like, what is this? Is the last of the Resistance. Why are you wasting your time?
But I think that's a hubris. That's what I see. Like, if they could just fuck them up in a moment.
But they want to.
Yeah, like one of the biggest things that this movie talks about a lot is hubris and pride, and especially with like the Jedi side of things, right? And I think a lot of that is on the Empire as well. I'm making shit up here, but as in like this wasn't told in the movie, but like,
well,
I think by them going, look, we could fuck them up. We're gone to like we've got nothing but time. Let's just wait them out and fuck them up.
But they don't say that. Is what
no,
I'm saying.
it's
and later,
heavily implied.
When they get to the crate and they're bringing the big cannon to blow the doors, they're just like, kill everybody in there. I'll kill every single person. Blast those doors down and kill them. And again, it gets to that point. They've got all these walkers lined up. They're walking the cannon down, and they're fucking around waiting for them to get in these shitty speeders. And they literally said there's 13 of these crap boxes flying at them, and they're like, "That's it." Kylo Ren's like, "Kill everyone. I don't give a shit anymore. Fuck this shit up." But then the cannon's got to charge up and shoot. So they're like, "Oh, these things are coming at us, sir. Should we start charging the cannon? You know, it takes a while to charge, right?" He's like, "Nah, let's see how these little ski things go."
Hubris.
Let's see how this. No, he's saying that. He's saying, "Let's go." There's no hubris. Nobody's like, "No, we don't need to. We're better." Nobody said that. Kylo Ren's like, "Now."
Okay. I thought you meant as in like. Because I read that as in like when they're dragging, he's like, I want to fucking like bring it. Like I want the intimidation, and then like. He had full intention of murdering everybody there, but it wasn't until he saw Luke walk out when he's like, "Fuck it, fucking, we're done. They're going down."
No,
and that's when he unleashed.
Before that, he did that.
Oh no,
but then he did blast.
They had to
Luke.
blow out the door in order for Luke to walk out. So my apologies. You're right there.
No, they didn't blow out the door.
They blew up the door, and that's how Luke got through. Because a big ass fucking hole in the door.
I don't remember that, but maybe.
Yeah.
He was monologuing, says Craig.
Yes, that was. I was saying he was ranting, but the correct term is monologuing. Ryan Landis jumps in and he says episode 9 will probably go back to the cookie cutter and will Return of the Jedi 2.0.
Well, what the things that made Empire similar to The Last Jedi? Yeah, okay, so
Crate is essentially Hoth but with salt.
Yeah, and backwards.
but at the end of the movie, not at the start.
A white covered planet where walkers and speeder type things face off against each other.
Yep.
But it's at the end instead. Whoa.
Rey goes to some weird fucking place, some weird dark side energy place to find herself, in the same way that Luke goes to that tree.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a younger apprentice training with the master on a secluded area, and yeah, they go into the Force tree / Force cave and face their inner demons. There's a lot similar with Return of the Jedi. Then it turns into Return of the Jedi, where they're taking the elevator up with Kylo Ren and Rey, and she's saying, you can
with the
turn
throne
it over.
room stuff. Yeah,
and Vader and Luke are talking.
We'll get to that. But one of the best fucking scene in the movie is that throne room, by the way.
Maybe. And then they get to the throne room, and just like the Emperor has holding Luke's lightsaber there and saying, "You want this to strike your enemies down? Have a look outside. Your people are getting blown up in your ships." Like exactly the same.
Yeah, literally.
That's weird. And that the supposed bad whatever apprentice turns on the master and kills them. Exactly the same. So they, as much as they change things, it's similar at the same time.
Okay, Lee is spot on. So you guys, I thought they got out. They're talking about the little crate storage center. Yeah. So essentially, Lee's right. So he says, I thought they got out because they noticed those wolf things had gone. That's correct. So what actually happened is they dropped the door. The little very sharp creatures ran in, shut the door. The gorilla walkers come up. They blow a hole in. They blow a hole in the.
I don't think they blew a hole.
No, they blow a hole in the door because that's when they're like, "Oh fuck!" And then Luke walks through that hole and they're watching him through the hole, going, "What? This is kind of fucked." And then they go, "Hang on, Luke's walked out. We need to save him." Like, no, it's not save him. That's
Yeah.
back
I remember
out.
that part.
So there is, they blow a
But
hole.
last thing I remember is they were setting up that cannon, and Finn was flying into it, and he was going to blow it up.
Yes.
And he did it. He got knocked out of the way, and then Luke Skywalker turned up.
Yeah. But just there are those similarities. Like, some of them are they're direct, but they're very sort of like formula, they theme Star Wars stuff. The whole idea of being trained by a master is not new to Star Wars, so it's,
Well, the other thing is Star Wars has like a cycle where the same thing repeats in history. That's one of the themes of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, they're like, the whole moral of the story is for Kylo Ren to kill the past and burn everything all down and start anew. And that's kind of like the motto of the movie at the same time.
I think that's the motto of the movie and the Star Wars franchise. That's what they're trying to say. So I think the overall tone of this is, what we know Star Wars to be it needs to change.
Yeah.
So we are stuck at a point now where 8 movies in, we need to shake shit up. We need to forget the past, whether that be the good or the bad. It needs to, and we need to forget it, kill it if we have to, which is them saying we're going to kill Leia, we're going to kill Luke, we're going to kill Han, everyone's going to go, and we're going to start with nothing but fresh. And like I said, I think it's, in terms of its meta commentary, I think it's very powerful, and not powerful, but it's very on the nose that way.
Well, even The Force Awakens had that at the very start. Max von Sydow's there, and he says, "This is our chance to make things right again."
Yeah,
like kind of like this is our chance to make a better Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
and not those ones.
See, but at the same point, like this is my issue. Is that like people are giving this movie a lot of shit, right? Like
too much
shit. We'll point. I agree.
I'm not
it's too much
saying
shit.
Erase it from canon.
Yeah, but people had the same stance about the prequels, and like side note about the prequels, I am so happy that Luke mentions Darth Sidious and what essentially happens in the prequels. So, because I'm not a prequel apologist, but I understand they need to exist in the overall canon, and they do play their part, and they do tell interesting overall stories. Individual stories, they're pretty shit. But in the overall world of Star Wars, they add a lot. Because as I said, it clearly shows the Jedi at a particular time where they were at their highest, they were at their strength, they were at their power.
Well, that's what he says, but how many...
It's exactly shown.
Yeah, no, I agree completely with what he's saying, but I'm just like, that was the height of their power? Like 15 Jedi across the entire galaxy?
It's not though. Like it's 15 Jedi in like the temple, and then they're only
the rest. They show one Jedi per clone squad.
Yeah, they go to
on
Geonosis.
like 8 different planets. Geonosis. I'd imagine all the Jedi at Geonosis is all they've got. That's everyone.
I'd say it's anyone that's within close proximity.
I think. Well, then Vader went out and eliminated all the other Jedi.
Yeah, and
they were pretty much dead by the end of. Well, they are dead by the New Hope. There's only Obi-Wan and Yoda. Yeah. So. What happened to the rest of it?
Well, because
in like Force Unleashed, Starkiller's killing like 1. There might be 3 or 4 out there, but where are these hundreds of Jedi? Like, I imagined, like when you play Knights of the Old Republic, thousands of Jedi. Like, and then this and that, what I imagine would be the height of their power. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's simply because the Old Republic doesn't exist technically as canon yet. Because it's the legends at this point.
But then again, if that isn't, then the height of the power was, like you said, 50 Jedi.
Yeah.
We're all douches.
Yeah, they're all butts. They're all butts. Like Mace Windu, as an example, he literally goes to Palpatine's fucking room. He's like, "You're arrested because you're guilty. No judge, no jury. Fuck you. You're guilty. You're dead. I'm gonna throw you out a fucking window." You know what I mean? Like that's what he does. He goes to he literally goes there to like. Not to be like, I'm here
with 6 Jedi who are all the Jedi.
He's like, I'm here to arrest you, and he's like, psst, and he's like, oh, he's resisting. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah, but that leads me to another thing, the Force. Now, there's some cool things. I like the way they treated the Force in this. I
agree.
Like Luke describing the Force to Rey.
And Ryan Landers quickly adds there were more than 15 Jedi in Clone Wars.
50.
So it's at least 50.
Least
50.
Do you mean the Attack of the Clones, or do you mean
just I think with all canon, I think we can safely say there's at least 50 Jedi. And
that's not much.
No.
Galaxies. Anyway. So he brings about. I really like the way that he was like, reach out, and she literally reached out, and then
cool little touch,
like, here's the Force, here's the Force. And he's like, no, you idiot. That was cool. That was fun humor. that he described what it is, and that's the thing in between.
It's back to being the energy. It's,
the mystic energy, right? And like he says, like it's not a power for the Jedi or the Sith; it's for the world. You know,
Everyone.
It's ego to think that you own it and it's your power.
And I think this they don't. I think maybe in a fan theory that I read this, but they talk about the midichlorians. Like the midichlorians is what makes you a Jedi. I was like, that was made up shit. That was made up elimination. Oh, your midichlorians.
Well, maybe it was of the time where like
you know what
DNA's a big thing, cloning's a big thing in the 90s.
Yeah, but I think it also comes from that place of like, hey, you know, like we're an elite club of people. You're too old, therefore we can't indoctrinate you with the Jedi way. So that's one thing. Two, you don't meet a midichlorian count. And something that's entirely out of your control.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you can use the Force or not, you don't have enough Force power to join the Jedi. Sorry.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think it was more of George Lucas trying to be like,
that comes with their
relevant.
pride.
Look at this. It's DNA. It's the things that we talk about now. And then people are like, the fuck? I can't be a Jedi. This is bullshit. And he's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And then people took it out of context. And yeah, that makes sense. And I think this movie knows that, and that's why they bring it back at the end with the little kid.
Yeah,
like, you know, anybody can be a Jedi, anybody can be special. You just need to believe in yourself. You need to have that hope. You need to train.
Yeah,
which is cool. But then it comes down to the Force powers. So the Force time where they're Skyping each other, that was cool. I really like that.
Force Skype. It's certainly a good use of the Force power. Like the whole idea of Force projection, I think is really cool.
Yeah, well, not so much the projection, but the fact that they could see each other, and especially when it starts, where he's like, "What's going on? I don't know what this is."
It's like, who are you? It's like, I've got no shot.
Exactly. Like, can you see me? I can't see where you are.
It's like, I can see you, but I can't see where you are.
Yeah, and then it got to the part where the rain's on his hand, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
Keon Jeddah asked the key question: what happened to Bosk between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens?
He was acting like a Bosk. He's probably got lots.
That's a good question. What happened to Bosk?
He's got lots of expanded universe adventures.
Yeah, like, I think Bosk is a character that's been touched on a lot in the extended universe.
People like him.
It's a good dude.
He's a good bounty hunter.
Yeah, Bosk is in.
Did you know the costume he wears is a
Battlefront.
Doctor Who costume?
Fuck off, really?
From an old black and white episode.
No way.
It is like the exact costume. They just put a lizard head on him.
It's like the whole. I think it's common knowledge now, but like the voice talky thing they used in episode 1 was just a chic Hydro razor with the razor taken off.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, it's like a women's razor.
It just painted it grey.
And that was the one that they used for the communicator when the toys were sold. Yeah.
Wait, where we going with that? Oh, the Force. Yeah, so the Force projection was a really cool idea, and something that I didn't notice initially, because you know at the end I was having a discussion with a friend of mine who was kind of bummed out that Luke sort of died in the end because like a fart, he's like poof, and just kind of drifted off into the wind.
Yes, but
the whole idea is, so the idea of Force projection exists because. Kylo Ren says to Rey, he's like, how are you doing this? This should kill you. Like, you don't have the power to do this. And not in those exact words, but I think the exact words, this should kill you. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Implying that this takes a lot of Force power.
Yeah. Which Snoke is doing.
Which Snoke is fuck, because he's the power. He's got that. So having Luke be able to do that at the end, I think really sort of like gave him that out. He did something fucking huge, something powerful, did the right thing, and whatever.
Well, that's what I thought. That's what they explained it as well. So he used so much Force energy that
he just depleted everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe because Snoke, you know, isn't having to project as much of a distance, it's easier for him. But he's doing it from the same place, essentially. Like he's projecting Kylo Ren on Ahch-To, and Luke's projecting himself from Ahch-To to Crate, so they're in the same vicinity. But then it brings me to another thing about the Force. What the fuck? Is it right or is it wrong? So they have these visions of the future. It doesn't explain how the Force exactly works. Like the fact... Oh, that'd be cool. Lando Force de-aged is actually Finn.
Oh shit! So Keon asks, "Where's Lando?" and Joel responds, "Well, yeah, Lando was
I'll get to
de-aged."
But that with the Force, like... It's this all-seeing, all-knowing thing, you know? But they couldn't see that Sidious, who's right there, and you're at the height of the power, 50 Jedis, whatever you want to have in the Genosis. They can't sense that, you're plotting some shit. You're bad. Like, I'm getting bad vibes. But then the Yoda's like, dark side clouds everything. Well, I have the Force. And then Rey says, I can, as solid and clear as I can see you before me, Luke Skywalker, I've seen Kylo Ren's future. Right?
Yeah.
But then she turns up and he fucks everything up. Is that what she saw?
No.
Because then people are like, no. She saw herself fighting side by side by him. Like,
which they did. They did technically fight side by
so
side.
What, the Force only shows you like bits.
Yeah, it shows like 20 minutes in the future. Yeah.
Not important bits. Like, show me the later bits. Don't show me the.
Have you ever been to a psychic? They'll tell you the most inconsistent shit.
Exactly, but I'm like, how does the Force work? And then Snoke has electricity powers, which Sith have.
Emperor, yep,
or whatever has. What? Why is he powerful?
Let's jump on to that for a second. So Snoke was set up to be this big fuck off, huge bad guy in Force Awakens. So there were at the time we didn't know whether he had big, big fucking force powers.
I can. Yeah. I can do the rest of the episode.
Ah, beautiful.
I can do his Jar Jar if you want.
That's racially insensitive. But yes, they were led to believe he's this big bad, but they didn't really quite say how. And then we come to realize that he is like a Force user, like a Sith, essentially, right?
Well, we can only go by speculation.
We can only assume.
Well, he's training Kylo Ren. He's like, your training will be complete when you do this. So you're like, okay, I assume that he's.
So my issue, well, it's not my issue. It's kind of what. So J.J. Abrams, talking about here, the creator of Lost, a show that had so many loose ends that fucking went nowhere. Because he was just writing as he went.
Well, he started the show. Didn't have much to do with it.
Yeah, but like Mike, so that
Alias though, the same thing.
Alias was, yeah. So like the point I'm making is that I feel that he's like, I'm gonna leave these big plot holes open. Who's Rey's parents? Because that apparently like that'll mean something, And then like, who's Snoke? And then Rian Johnson's rocked up and gone, yeah, that doesn't actually affect the greater overall story. That's kind of a dumb thing. All right, we'll scrap that. And we're like, okay, we'll scrap that too. And like, which is bum because like they can't just cut him out. They can't just be like, and Snoke didn't appear in this movie. Bye.
Yeah, I know. But then JJ's coming back for episode 9. He's like, right, here we go. Day 1 of pre-production. Let's finish that story I set up. So
this is the
what's Snoke's story?
This is the huge concern of rotating directors.
Well, you'd think that they'd have an arc.
Obviously, Kathleen Kennedy should probably push it in the right direction. So I would like to think that she would be like, hey, don't fucking bring Snoke back. You'd think, but it's the JJ. If they're giving Abrams the control,
yeah. But then JJ Abrams will be like, the movie will start, and Snoke's just like, puts his legs.
He gets robo legs like Darth Maul.
He's gone, yeah. And then Captain Phasma gets out of the fire. Woo! I'm back. And Luke Skywalker's like,
he comes back
again. Princess Leia's just like flies away forever. The other thing that I think that's another big thing because it's all about the speculation, all the fandom, and everybody's like. Star Wars fans are passionate people, and they're the ones that buy the merchandise and the toys and the books and the comics and the this and the that and the games. And then all this speculation is what's been kept it going for 2 years. Like those questions. Who's Rey's parents? What's Phasma's deal? Is she going to get more screen time in the next one? Who's Snoke? And Rian Johnson's like, nah, doesn't matter. And that was his choice, it seems, to kind of steer it in a new direction. But it's not us that put that on there. J.J. Abrams is an expert at setting up questions. That was a big thing. Who is Snoke? What's his deal? Why do they bother putting a scar on him? Why is he old and crackly? Has he had a stroke? What's going on there? Is he Mace Windu? Is he like somebody who has been cut by Luke Skywalker? All these things that you're wondering. Rey's parents have a significance. Why is she so force powerful? Like, you ask her who her parents are. Like, I'm not telling you. So it's not on us that...
but that's my problem. Like, that's the point I'm making. It's like Abrams has a track record of setting up shit that don't pay off.
Joel says that's why there's that image floating around of J.J. Abrams episode 9 opening crawl with beginning, it was all just a dream. Luke is still alive.
What else we got here? So Joel says, word has it that J.J. Abrams was setting up Snoke up to be a big, massive thing, as I mentioned. And Ryan was like, nah, I don't really like him. Dead. Keon adds, in The Last Jedi, why didn't the Resistance look for more exits on Crate? They just kind of went, yeah, there's no exits. We we checked the schematic once.
Well, you got droids that can kind of like scan. Like, where's R2D2 at that point? He's on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Just R2 scan the thing. And okay, so are we done with the Force? We hate the Force now.
Jump in one thing before we go. Ryan Lennon says, I don't think Snoke is really gone. Episode 9 is using the name Black Diamond. Maybe there's something to do with Snoke's black crystal ring.
No, that's just
too deep. I think
nerds trying too hard to hold on to hope.
He said, I kind of feel that he was like mishandled, but at the same point, I also don't fucking care.
Like, it's cool. It's cool that they killed him off. Like, that moment was surprising. Again, the Force. So for the Snoke is like, I can bridge people without dying. I am the most powerful. I see everything. I know your thoughts. I've been planning your future and controlling you. What? Oh, I didn't see that coming. Like, he's bragging. I know everything. I can see everything. The Force shows me everything.
You know what it is?
And he can't see that.
But look at the exact. But look at the exact. It's pride again. Every time the Force has fallen short, someone's been prideful in how they use it. They've been overzealous. They're
he
like,
does close his eyes while he's talking.
Everything. It's like, I'm a Jedi master. I can motherfucking run the Force. And it's been like, the Force works for me. Oh, you stabbed me. Well, what can you do? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I think that's what it is. I think it's that whole side of like that religion side of thing that kind of, like, they're not like I talk to God, like, bullshit you do. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is going places I wasn't prepared
but it's something like, it's just the Sith and the Jedi are religion. It's referred to as a religion in this movie rather than just a group of people. Like, it's literally referred to as the Jedi religion.
My argument, though, is that while he's saying those things, on the second time I watched it, he's like, I know this, I know that, I've been planning this. It's only in the last sentence he has before he dies that he's kind of like vaguing it up, or he's like, yes, I can sense you turning your lightsaber to the person that you hate the most. Oh, that was me. You know, like, oh, so the Force is like vague, and it's like, you'll meet someone who you really like and you rekindle that relationship.
So if you were born within the first 6 months of the year, it's just kind of cool.
Oh, Brian, don't get me started on Force Ghosts.
Okay, hang on. What do we got? Where we got? All right, Keon, thank you for the sub, man. I didn't think I saw the thing pop up, but hopefully it did, and your name appeared. Thank you very much. The 90s squad says, hey, Ryan, what's up? Hey, man, thanks for joining. Joel says, well, there's this analyst video mentioning that the Snoke in Ep 8 looked different and had scars in different places compared to Ep 7, as did Kylo Ren, as protection, and that he can clone or project himself. So it's, okay.
Yeah.
It's possible. And Joel, I think they just changed the design a bit in pre-production. Yeah, same with, because, they did the same with Kylo Ren because his scar looked better across his eye rather than across his face. Lee says, how did Finn get back to Millennium Falcon when the last time we saw him before that he was in a twisted wreck at the feet of the walkers? Oh, no, he drags Rose in. So the last time we see him,
they just let him. They're just not like if I'm running the Empire, I'm like, all right, guys.
There's a guy running over there.
Best snipers on top of these ships. Shoot all 13 of those ships right now or you're fucking dead. Because the Empire, I imagine, is a fun place to be. You get up, you train, you wear those stinky costumes all day, and then you go to bed. Like, that's your job. You're military, you train, you got nothing better to do. You're an elite person. And then, literally, Finn in The Force Awakens says that he can't fly a TIE fighter, so he needs Poe to escape. Right? The movie hasn't bridged any parts that I haven't seen, so when he gets in these ski things, he'd have no fucking clue what he's doing. He'd just be like, I don't know what's happening.
And they're like, can you flick the switch to make it balance? He's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and like the most elite Empire can't like be like, this guy can't drive for shit. He's just driven into the ground. Shoot him, please.
But you also got to remember, because
they can aim all those things at Luke Skywalker. They can't be like, shoot that one.
Isn't the whole idea that they're clones and they do what they're told? Because it's talked about, they have programming, and Finn broke programming. So when Snoke says shoot everyone at that, so everyone just shoots that, and then they're like, oh, someone over there, but like I haven't got the orders to shoot him. It's like, can I?
That's on Hux. That's on Kylo Ren.
That's the point. Like, is that the situation? Because I always wondered I'm like, he just kind of like walked around Luke. And Kylo Ren is like dragging. It was like easy, he like just like they'll never.
Yeah, like I wanted to be like that, and then you can see him in the background.
It's just like you walk behind the camera. But all right, so he did make it in, but how the fuck? Ryan Lander says, if Snoke is so powerful, why couldn't he be a Force ghost? Maybe he just pulled a Ben Kenobi, spelled wrong. I do like that's a good point.
What?
The all powerful. Like, how come we haven't seen any like Sith Force ghosts?
Right.
Or have we? Is it extended universe?
Force ghosts, right? In the original Star Wars, it was all Force is mystical and it's a circle of life and it's everywhere. It's over-existing. Strike me down now and I'll become more powerful.
So the sacrifice.
And that's when Obi-Wan Kenobi like gives himself to the Force and then returns as a Force ghost. He's like, I'm more powerful than ever. You can't kill me now.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, that makes sense. It brings it into the religious elements. Then in the Return of the Jedi, Vader dies, but Yoda dies and he like fades away. Same thing. He went back to the Force.
Yep.
Vader's evil, so Luke burns his body to kind of release him back to the Force because he wasn't good enough to disappear, I assume. Or maybe he just died. But then he turns up at the end redeemed as a Force ghost.
No, I think it's because when they tore off his mask, realized he's a crusty old white dude. that was his moment where he returned back to the light side.
Exactly. So he redeemed himself. Yet in the prequels, there's no mention of this. They burn Qui-Gon after he dies and have that ceremony.
Joel makes that exact point. He's like, "Where the hell's Qui-Gon Jinn?"
Wait, then it gets the Revenge of the Sith, and in the very last moments, they're on the blockade runner, and Yoda's like, "Guess what, Obi-Wan? Qui-Gon visited me, and he's learned how to be a ghost in death." In death, he's trained, and he's come to me, and he's training me how to be a ghost now. Like, it's a thing that only Qui-Gon Jinn, of all the Jedis, of all the decades, of all the history, has learned.
Liam Neeson.
Dumb. That is dumb. And Yoda comes back in the Force Ghost, but, like, they killed
Mr. TC
that.
Lol. How you doing, man? Thank you for dropping by.
If there are snow speeders on Crate, then it would just be Empire Strikes Back again.
It's good. It is a good point, though. It's just like Qui-Gon Jinn is the man.
Yeah, and it's a throwaway line, like, "Oh, he taught me how to be a ghost." Like, huh? What was that? Like a big thing.
A ghost.
Come back as you're talking to Yoda. What are you on? Like that seems to be like such a massive element in fitting the way that it's all this circle of life, and that's one of the biggest things they took out of the prequels.
Speaking of Force ghosts and Yoda, though, what do you think of Yoda coming back in The Last Jedi?
Well, when I was watching it, his ears poke up.
Yeah.
And all the audience was like,
I did the same thing.
And then it showed him.
And I was like,
everyone was like, the whole audience was like, because he looked like really CG and horrible.
It was his puppet, but they kind of like, there was this weird Force thing. And then when they removed that filter and it was clearly just the puppet, I'm like, like that's when it became cool again.
That was cool. And it was cool. He was back to his old kind of jovial self where he's like, I'm dead now. Shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, and he's like, but the books. He's like, the books fucking suck, dude.
Like, the books aren't in there, you idiot. Ray's got them. And he burnt the tree down.
But I do like, I did like him coming back in like that because that sort of establishes, I guess, the projection and the Force stuff because he hits Luke in the head.
Well, that's another thing. Like, why live as a Jedi if you can come back and just F stuff up? He hit him in the head, and I get it. It's funny. Yeah. But then again, it sets a precedent for, like, you can strike lightning down and you can hit people in the head with sticks. Like, why don't you just, like, Snoke is going... That's what probably happened. Snoke got zapped in the head, and that's why he stays in a ship, because it's like, he doesn't go to planets because you get hit by lightning. All right,
let's jump back into the chat, see what we've got going on here.
Okay.
So Keon adds, what if there was no speed? We mentioned that. Is Snoke blind or dead? Or deaf is what he's written. I'm not quite sure on what you're asking there.
He's both.
Keon asks, why not Mace Windu? Why was Mace Windu not a Force ghost? I think because he did... Mace Windu...
Well, he's not dead. He fell out a window.
It's believed that he's dead.
No, he's back. He'll come back.
So... Mace Windu, like this is the thing. So the reason he has a purple lightsaber, right? There's this big... He wanted a purple lightsaber. Samuel L. Jackson wanted a purple lightsaber. And they actually made canon around it. And the idea that because he harnesses light power and a little bit of dark power, hence red and blue, he has a purple saber. That's... Because made up lore to have it make sense. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe because he harnessed that Force power as a sacrifice, he doesn't get a Force ghost anymore. Because he's still with that dark side. So when he died / fell out of that window, his last act was a very fucking anger motivated, not a very Jedi-esque decision before he died. So he didn't sacrifice himself for the greater good. He fought a dude and fell out a window.
I mean, yeah, it's all written and
I make all this shit up. None of this shit's confirmed. I'm just talking out my butt.
Even in like... You don't fight with anger, you fight with skill, you know? It's just like fluid, like it's flowing through you. You can fight with your lightsaber.
And that's what's great about the prequels is they really show that because it's very fluid in their fights.
Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon dies and he's like fucking like revving himself up when the gate's there and then he like it's go time and he's fighting with anger.
Very clear.
That's anger in his body. Like you're not supposed to have any anger. That's anger. Like Ewan, there's no anger. We want everyone to be cardboard. He's like, but I'm the only one actually trying here. I'm pretty good. I was good in all the
Ray Parks is like, I'm really glad to be invited.
Yeah, he's like, I'm dead as well.
Joel says, Star Wars Episode 9 Ghost Party. Mace Windu comes back, calls everyone motherfuckers, and leaves. Now, I know this name. Shiloh. It's like Shiloh. I think it was Shiloh. They did explain how to pronounce it correctly last time. I totally forgot. I expect when the rebels were on Crate, that when they sent the signal being sent and quote unquote heard, that there would be a mass of random ships appearing to defeat the last of the First Order. I think that would have been really cool.
Nobody cared.
But no one gave a fuck.
Yeah. The spark of resistance was gone. Yeah. Who has a ring that has a secret rebel sign? Come on.
It's like, once again, it's an old religion thing. Religi-digi thing. You know, like the whole like fish symbol thing. You would draw one half, and the person would draw the other half, and that's how you knew you were all a Christian and shit.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You know the fish symbol.
I know the Jesus,
that's not, that was back at the.
You stole my Jesus fish.
Fell out of a window. You mean? Says Craig. God damn it, Craig.
Well done.
Let's see. Dylan fighting with his fluids. 2018. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Keon, what happened to Luke's students' lightsabers? I imagine they were taken with the what we assume is the Knights of Ren.
Come on, the Knights of Ren is another thing. What is that shit?
Where's that at? He's like, oh, he just took a bunch of students.
Well, you think if he had them, he'd be using them because in the dream that Rey has, there's Ren and multiple people in the background. So now, in the original, somehow, I don't know where it came from, but you assume that Kylo Ren had killed everybody at the temple and pissed off.
Yeah.
But now, he was like, Jedi Master Skywalker just tried to kill me. Let's get the fuck out of here. And then he left with everybody.
Let's get the fuck out. He's like, okay, let's go. He's like, no, burn shit down.
And I'm going to be evil.
Yeah.
And let's burn this stuff. And they're like, maybe he was right.
In that moment of like they're throwing chairs, like this could be really bad.
Why? No, don't set that on fire. We're just breaking stuff.
Lee says, has it been revealed what caused Luke to become so disillusioned with the Force between Return of the Jedi and the Last Jedi? It's pretty much Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And the whole idea
Jedi
is
being like
when he comes to realize the Jedi Order is broken, and the way it's been ran so far needs to change. I think.
Dug it out of the bin.
How did Kylo Ren get Vader's helmet? Holy crap! Like in The Last Jedi, he just Force Awakens, he just fucking has it.
Here's a better question: how did Maz Kanata get Luke Skywalker's hand and lightsaber?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's not gonna explain.
No.
Yeah, Maz Kanata rocks up in there, but she's busy like being action hero apparently. But 90s T Squad says bye. Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it.
All right, here's another thing that was silly.
All right, so chuck your comments, chuck your chats in. We'll bullshit about some eBay. You bought the lightsaber off eBay. Chuck some shit down below.
Who put it on eBay?
Chuck your theories or anything you want to do. This is an open discussion between us and you guys. So we'll bullshit this whole time.
Put in your thoughts. Ask your questions.
Feed us your thoughts, and we'll go from there.
So Maz Kanata, right? So. This is the Resistance most dire moment. Never in all the Star Wars movies has it been this dire. The last people are in these 4 or 5 ships, right? And after that, there's no more hope in the galaxy. They go to Maz Kanata and they're like, hey, we need to get into the Star Destroyer for reasons, whatever. Rose and Finn have time to make a PowerPoint presentation to show to Poe because he's dumb. And she's like, I'm busy having a dispute about union disputes, but there's a master code breaker on Canto Bight. He plays this game. He could be there, might not be, might be on holidays.
He plays this game. He has a red flower on his chest.
He has a red flower. Go. And you're like,
what's his name?
Yeah, like maybe you don't want to tell his name because it's like an open channel, maybe. But like, all right, Maz. What do they look like? Are they a Gungan? Are they a Wookiee? Give us a starting point. Is he a human? Is it a girl?
Is this thing on his
lapel? Is it a Wookiee?
Is this a common thing? Like, is this something I could buy? Like,
does he wear it all the time, or just like on weekends, like, or when he's working? Like, what's going on? Like, give us something. This is our last moments.
Yeah.
Give us more. Why would you go to a bar, let alone a freaking planet, to find a person you've never seen before? And then when they got there, I was like, you know what would be cool? If the Master Codebreaker was Lando, just for that one scene where, and you're like, oh, cool, it's Lando. He's like this sneaky guy still. They didn't. They used Justin Theroux, and he's like, hello, darling, I've got a Grace. They could have said he's got a Grace Creek through his hair. Grace Creek.
Would be enough.
Nah, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, and then they went, and then that's when we. Let's talk about the fucking Canto Bite scene. When I first saw it,
what happens in Space Vegas stays in Space Vegas. That is very good.
Well, as I said, like Maz did seem very infatuated with the lapel band. She's like, he can crack me. Not the exact words, but she pretty much implies they're fucked.
Yeah. His magic hands.
Yeah, that's what magic hands. That's right. It's the first time I saw the movie when the whole Canto Bite stuff happened. I'm like, okay, well this stops the movie cold. Cool.
I don't know. It wasn't that. A lot of people hate
like,
it.
No,
it's like nobody likes it. Nobody likes it.
Yeah. And I can see why, because I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, cool. And like it really slows down the pace, but it's so built into the final, the big epilogue, which I also have an issue with.
Does it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they can't. They couldn't yank it out.
Yeah.
Because essentially, what it feels like, what happened is we have all these characters that we need to deal with, and fuck, what are we gonna get Poe to do? All right, I guess he can go here. What? No, so we'll get what Poe can do. Okay, Poe can fight this. Okay, what can Finn do? Finn can fuck off over here and do this thing. And I mean, like, it feels like they've had all these different characters. They're like, granted, we're focusing really heavily on Luke and Leia and Rey and Kylo Ren, but we have all these characters that have been set up that we need to do something with. So like, let's just find shit for them. Now, so the Canto Bite stuff, visually cool. The weird anthropomorphic magical beasts and where to find them in Canto Bite, which is weird. Really, like that was when Star Wars has always been some. Like, there are always political messages in Star Wars in some shape or another, but this was, I think, a little too on the nose. It was very, very obvious and like not like a social justice warrior kind of way. It's just I think it was a little too pushed.
I don't know. When it got there, I was like, okay, this is all right. Like, it looks like Monte Carlo. Like, it doesn't look otherworldly.
It did look a little human. Yeah.
And then when they get there, like it's just a panning shot. So it's their cantina. It's their Maz Kanata's, this Jabba's palace. It's where they can have crazy crap. And the camera starts panning through the casino, and the first thing you see is a Thunderbird. Like, not like a marionette looking Thunderbird guy. Like Jerry Anderson Thunderbird. I'm like, that is a puppet, but they're like, no, it's an alien. It looks like exactly like a fucking puppet. Go back and watch it. It's a puppet.
And then there's that. Then there's
the big eyebrows, the big eyes, blinky eyes. I'm like, that's cool. They just put a Thunderbird in there for no reason. And like, who's to say aliens don't look like puppets? But then, as you go through the thing, like 90% of the people there are humans.
Yeah.
And there's the occasional little weird
very
thing.
humanoid. Yeah.
Not even that. Like humans are everywhere, and a few aliens. So that kind of kills it as well. Where it's like, it just feels out of place. They did use some practical effects for those goat things. Like when they're in the stables, they were actually like giant built things. But then it is like the worst CGI, like, I'm riding a thing. Horrible sequence where they're knocking through cars. And you see them film that, and they blew up the speeders, and they shot through these alleyways. They tried, but then they came through at the last minute like, oh, we got to get those goats out today. The movie's on tomorrow. And then just CG these horrible goats. And then they get the goats out to the opening. You're like, well, now... and take the saddle off. Now it's worthwhile. And then they fly off. And then the bad guys come back and like, fucking get these goats.
Yeah, like,
and like drag them back again and whip them even harder.
Or they're like, well, these goats know freedom now.
Yeah. Or you save the goats, you left the slave children there. You don't save the slave children.
Yeah, but you can't ride the slave children out.
If the message is like, save animals, like, hey, I get that, it's weird, but like, why not save the slaves? Like, that's making a difference. What are the goats gonna do? They're gonna eat grass and then probably walk back there. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, get confused and walk back.
Like,
but yeah, like the whole thing. And like, let's talk about Benicio. Benicio, how do you pronounce it? Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro.
I liked him. I like him as an actor, though.
Did you like his Lex Luthor? little things you do.
No.
Like, yeah, you know. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, when Benicio del Toro was announced to be in Star Wars,
I was
think
like,
everyone
fucking dope.
forgot that he was in it. Like, he
Yeah.
was the Guardian, the Collector in the Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy.
Did he have a weird mouth twitch in...
He was pretty cool. He's a bit weird. He did things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, cool. So he's in like 2 sci-fi things. How is he going to be different? And I assumed that he was going to be used as a villain or something big. You know, it could have been anyone. It's cool that he went there and he brought that little weirdness to it.
Yeah.
But it's a waste of Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, he's an incredible actor, and it's kind of interesting what they've put.
I'm
put
surprised
him
they
in,
didn't use him in a bigger role. Like,
but maybe that's the thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with having small people in big people in a small role. Keon, he's got to go. Thank you very much, Keon. I do appreciate you stopping by and enjoying the chat.
Volptex Pokemon.
Volpix. Let's see. What have we got? Pinch says, supposedly, Benicio del Toro character will play a big part in the upcoming movies.
No,
Very interesting. I'd like to see more of him, but what are they called? Fathers?
Fathers.
Fathers.
It's a goat. And look,
It's a dad issue thing.
I wanted to see the Power Rangers there. Look at these Power Rangers.
The fuck?
They're the riders. Go Power Rangers.
Go Father Riders.
Father. And look, this kid is gonna be Tamiri Blagg. Everyone's like, that kid's gonna be in Ryan Johnson's spin-off.
I want a name like that.
I have no. Like, there is no way in my mind that I think that they're going to use that specific character or that kid in anything. It's just he's just representing the people in that scene. He's not coming back.
No,
everyone's like, that kid's going to come back and kill Kylo Ren.
This is the fucking point. This is the problem with the people on the internet. They're like, it has to be connected. Like, no, this is no one can the
whole idea is
nuance.
That anybody anywhere can be it. Don't make him the chosen one.
It's the nuance of that moment, as in this person is a reflection of an overall theme. They're like, no, but we need him to come back. No, fucking
yeah. You don't get it.
People don't get it. It's that nuancey shit that no one gets anymore.
Yeah.
Joel says, where did all the Vulpix, assuming he means the Pokemon, group run off to at the end of the crowd? And it's animals. They just fucked off. They're probably going to do the same.
No. He means the fox ones.
Yeah, the fox ones. Yeah, they just kind of fucked off at the end. Are they all on the ship? Other Resistance Vulpix farmers. What are they called? Do they have a name?
What, the Vulpix?
The Vulpix,
We'll find out.
You're spelling
Vulptex. Very good. You got it right.
Oh, well, so, okay.
He was saying it's Pokemon.
Okay. So, it looks kind of like Vulpix, the Vulpix, the Pokemon. So, in the latest ones, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, where you have the Alolan variant, which literally looks like that, almost.
Yeah.
They didn't even try. Nintendo, you're gonna copyright fucking every YouTube video that has Mario in it.
Disney owned Nintendo, don't worry about it.
So like, why aren't they gonna pull that up? Lee says, will Jar Jar Binks make an appearance in episode 9 as the big bad? Dude, the fan theory that he is actually a giant Sith Lord is still my favorite thing in the entire world.
Oh, hi, David.
Oh, hi, Dave. Let's see if Deb chat away back. Yeah, like the big fan theory that he is the ultimate Sith Lord. Beautiful.
Yeah, do that.
And I kind of like... It's like all those little side comments that like George Lucas made, like the behind the scenes of like everything. It's like he's the key. He's behind everything, and he sort of he follows up in the whole idea of what Yoda was, and Yoda was this bumbling fool that you're like, I don't expect much out of you, and you're like, holy fuck, you're a big Jedi Master. Wouldn't that like? I do certainly think the grounds are there for what could have been, as in like Jar Jar being a big bad, and like. It's kind of disappointing they never do anything with it.
Joel couldn't believe it.
Joel, I got that book as well. When I found out they called Vulpix, I couldn't believe it.
Another thing.
What's that line from Jane Silent Bob Strike Back? George Lucas going to sue somebody. I think fucking Mario's going to sue somebody.
All right, another thing that I had an issue with was that there are a lot of jumps in time. Again, it's a filmmaking thing. So Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker are facing off. Kylo Ren gets down out of his ship, walks over, sparks up his lightsaber. Luke Skywalker sparks up his lightsaber. They're facing off, right? And like, shit is going to go down. Cuts to Poe. Poe's watching them. He's like, wow, I think he's buying us time. Yeah, guys, he's buying us time.
Exposition.
How are we going to get out of here? Where's the fox? Oh, the fox has gone through there. Let's go. Leia's like, you looking at me? Follow him. So they go. right? Still the same scene. Would have taken time. Time jumps, they're looking for the thing. They find the rocks. Oh, there's rocks here. We've searched the back of the cave now. Cuts back to Luke and Kylo. I timed it. That was a 3.5 minute block of scene alone, but they had to walk the distance, which they cut. And Kylo and Luke are still standing there. Have they been standing here for 3.5 minutes just staring at each other? And Hux is like, I don't know what's going to happen. What's happening
He's
here?
like, it took a very long time for them to walk over there.
They catch Rose and Finn. They got them on the ground. All the stormtroopers are standing there around, hundreds and hundreds of stormtroopers that aren't getting in TIE fighters and blowing up the other ships. They're just chilling out in the hangar. And they're like, oh, what should we do? Should we kill them? Phasma turns up, says hello. And they're like, yeah, we're going to kill them. 3.5 minutes, cut to something else. I set my timer, came back. They bring the executioners. The executioner troopers come with their little axes. What took 3.5 minutes? Like, why don't they just come, like, get the executioners and they walk out? Were they at the other end of the ship and the elevators were out and they had to, like, walk from one end of the ship to the other?
Yeah, well, you work in an office. Like, you have to send an email and, and then have to go to another department. And
out of all, like hundreds of stormtroopers, like, you get the axe. No, we need these guys with the special black ones to do this.
You know what this is? This is union shit, right? It's like, I'm the one paid for this role. I'm hired for this role.
I'm trained in this. I can't handle that weapon. It's not my paper.
Yeah, I'm trained in laser blades.
What were they doing? What are these time gaps?
It's a movie. I think that's when you get into. That's like, you understand movies, dude.
No.
I think, but they are implying this all happens at the same time.
They understand movies. They paid millions of dollars to make these movies.
Joel adds, I didn't really need the whole Finn and Rose arc. I agree. Finn could have stayed in the recovery ward until the crate battle and it would have been completely fine.
I like Rose, though.
I dislike Rose.
Why?
I find her a really quite boring and poorly written character. Nothing against her as an actress. I just think what she did and what she brought didn't really affect the overall storyline.
I didn't like
I didn't like
her storyline, but as a character and her dynamic with Finn, I thought that was cool.
Her dynamic with Finn was sufficient,
especially at the start when he's trying to escape on the pod.
That scene, that setup scene, really cool.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot, and I liked
her sister was the one.
Yeah, the time with the sister, which I think is really interesting. It was really good as well.
Yes.
But from then on, I consistently lost interest in her as a character, and the whole. I understand that they didn't want to kill off Finn, but his very sacrificial moment, I think, would have been an incredible, incredible, unsuspected, just powerful moment if we lost Finn in this movie, but he did something super cool with it. And she comes down, I'm like, oh, fuck you. And then she's like, kisses him, and he gives her this look like he just kissed a brother,
which wasn't the first time in this galaxy.
That's true. But, it was just uncomfortable. The forced romanticism between that I didn't enjoy, and I just didn't. As probably the sour taste probably comes from the whole Canto Bite stuff. I think she could have been used better.
All right, let's talk about sacrifices. So, Holdo. Holdo. Right. Okay. I'm gonna get the lady. So
crap! You just nailed it.
This ratty looking lady, Commander Diasi. This lady here. See her. So Leia. Leia gets blown out of the main deck, the control deck. Let's say the bridge, right?
Yeah.
And then later there's another bridge. Okay, is there a secondary bridge?
Apparently.
Okay, that's whatever. Let's just ignore that.
The second time too. I was like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah, where's that seat? Where's the pilot seat in this one? So anyway, that rat girl comes up and she says. She says, look, this is everybody's gathered in this room. Everybody's here in the meeting room. We have a meeting room, right? We're having a meeting. Yep. Unfortunately, Princess Leia, General Leia's taken a turn for the worse, as she would say. Hope alive, sparks and all that stuff. And now here's General Holdo, and she's gonna have a little speech. She's like, hey, I'm General Holdo. I've just got my hair done somewhere. It's washed. It's fresh. It's purple. I've come from the Hunger Games.
There was a Force Ghost bridge, says right.
I just want to say, this is it. This is the moment. We're all going to die if we don't join together. There's no pussyfooting around or politics or voting or dicking around. This is the last moment of our lives. Let's band together. There's a base about 1,000 light speed years away from here. We're going to sneak there. and then we're going to take our escape pods, which are tiny and can't be on scanners, even though you can see out windshields and see things fly off, like when they go to Canto Bight. The Empire is sitting there in their ships just watching, like, this is my job to just watch this ship get shot. What was that? What went over there? Scanners don't show anything. Yeah, but I saw something fly off. Doesn't matter. And then there's like 100 of them flying off, and like, I think there's something over.
I have poor vision, so I'd be like.
They mentioned something about a cloaking scanner that they had.
Yeah.
And then something they had like a cloaking jammer. Like, their cloaking jammers aren't working. Isn't that like BPP-1? Like, cloaking jammers on. Oh, yep, those ships are trying to get away cloaking. You know, that's the first step in
For those
pursuing
that don't
people.
know, we work in a call center. So BPP is best practice procedures.
Step
it's essentially like a little guidebook that tells you how to handle a particular situation. So, like, that's a very in-joke, but
So
I get his
anyway,
point.
they should have said that, but instead there's all this Poe jumping around, bouncing off the walls, fucking around. Then Holdo, he bands up everyone together, mutinies, right? Then Holdo attacks people that are like helpful crew, does the smoke, stuns them, and then just for purely that moment where Poe takes the bridge, door bursts open, and it's Leia, and everyone's like, "Yay, Leia's here to be saving the day and reasonable."
"Bwah!"
And then she shoots him, he's like, oh, "What? She's evil?" No, she's not. They're all buddies again. Like, that is dumb on so many levels. Poor management.
I really feel that comment. Like, as I said, the point I think I mentioned this at the start was. The whole idea is, yes, he has just been demoted, therefore he's probably not privy to this information. Because
There's like 15 people.
This is the thing. It's military, right? So there are ranks. However, when your army is like a dozen people, Baker's dozen at best, you should probably talk to people.
Yeah.
We work in a business.
Especially when time is of the essence.
Yeah, look,
you don't want to be like, can you tell your group this, and you tell your group this, and have other meetings? Because we're all here now. But I don't want to talk about it now.
Look, the pop culturists, as a business, there is 6 of us. And, like, our communication is abhorrent. Like, you know what I mean? So I understand that part of it. But, like, we're not trying to, like, escape a giant ship or anything.
It's not. We're not about to die, and it's...
Side note, though.
We're trapped in a place where we can't communicate with other people, and we're stuck together.
Like, I understand their point of being like, we're going to try sneakily outrun them. They're going to think we're beaten and we're fucked off, right? But it's like, okay, you have a baker's dozen of crew. And you've got 3 ships. You have a whole medical frigate, right?
You did.
That you just sacrificed. Like, granted,
second time,
they pointed out that, like, everyone's on the ships, everyone's out,
except the black dude,
which is something I didn't pick up the first time.
I was like, this fucking Holdo is a dumbass. He's killing hundreds of people.
Like, Leia was all uppity about 13 people dying at the start, right?
Yeah.
Holdo's like, she's asleep. I just killed
that ship gone.
I just killed 80 people.
Yeah. So they did. That one guy was piloting.
Oh,
the ship.
Dave Chataway, I'm gonna talk Jumanji at the end with you. So I'm like, you just killed fucking 80 people.
That's
easy. Right. Turns out, no, they all ducked off.
It was one guy, and probably high ranking.
Yeah, but he did the sacrificial thing, which is very nice.
All right, so let's get to the sacrificial. You got more?
We'll get there in a sec, but like, so Joel mentioned as well about Admiral Akbar as we started. At the start of the conversation, we did mention Admiral Akbar.
She mentioned it.
I kind of feel that he would have been a better character to do this than Holdo.
Yeah, like Laura Dern's cool, but
she was really good.
And there's
as
like
a shit character.
Stories where Leia and her were friends since childhood, and she was this Luna Lovegood ditzy kind of person. And there might be some kind of like lesbian relationship or something.
Yeah,
I haven't read the book. Yeah, but to introduce her, it's in the book. There's a book. They just to introduce her as no, and then for Poe to be like, "This is Admiral Holdo," and then everybody's got all these like, you know, he's sexist,
and that would have made Poe's decision to mutiny be more powerful. Was Akbar? It's like, look, I trust Akbar. Akbar's huge, but this is fucked.
And we love Akbar.
You mean Akbar is great? Like, you know, it's a trap. Like he's like what they're literally setting is a trap. So he gets blinked out of an eye in fucking
because they didn't
one
want to
moment.
Say that. Yeah, that was complete up. But then again, okay. So she is like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. I love you, Leia. Apparently we're best friends. We know each other. I haven't talked to you. You weren't in earlier scenes with me. This is our one scene we've ever seen together. I'm going to stay, and I'm going to fly the ship. And I'm just going to fly the ship to keep it running.
Until it dies.
Until you can clearly see those other ships gone.
Yeah.
Right? But her flying of the ship... There's no autopilot, apparently. You got hyperspeed, you can track hyperspeed. You got droids that are like sentient, but whatever. Her flying is this. She's looking out the windshield, standing next to the pilot seat, doing this. You're not flying the ship. You don't need to be there. Only when she decides to turn it around does she get into the cockpit-looking thing and fly it into the thing and
Side note,
lightspeed it.
fucking fantastic scene. And once again, the nuance of movie making lost. Do you read the reports where people are like, I think the movie's broken because it got really silent there? I'm like, it's supposed to be silent, you fucking moron.
10 seconds, yeah.
But it was so good.
Apparently that was sent out before the movie was being released because the projectionists would be like, ah,
Because
freak out.
people are stupid.
But then they put on doors for idiots. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, cool. So she's like
So cool,
we
though.
assume that
So
Holdo
cool.
is like skilled, intelligent.
Well, because Poe sets it up. He goes, is this Holdo?
The great Holdo that
Yeah.
did all the whatever and wherever. So you think that would be a person to keep. You know, she'd be handy. You'd be like, you know what? We need someone to fly the ship and keep it busy. C-3PO.
Hey, John in, he's like, "Huh," and he's like peeling a potato.
Get C-3PO to do it. Like, you know, we don't like you and you don't do much. You just stand there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Fly the ship.
Yeah,
Have a heroic
Anthony
moment.
Daniels, but he's not really doing much else, though.
Why wasn't it Princess Leia whose big moment to go out would be like, you know what?
That sacrifice.
I've fought for this resistance all my life, and I'm going to sacrifice my life, and so much more important and so much weighted, and that epic lightspeed blow up.
Yeah. But then again, we knew that she would have had a moment in episode 9 regardless
You
of...
had 3 chances to kill her off and you didn't take it.
Yeah, that first one, I was like, get the...
Oh, that was cool.
I was like, get the fuck out. Like, this can't be it. Like, this is not how you kill Leia.
I thought that was like, huh.
Yeah, well, I had that moment of, holy fuck, it's ballsy, but you can't do it that way. Like,
Well, that's what they were like, we're not going to reshoot her scenes or get a like CGI version in episode 9 for reasons. And it was because she wasn't going to be in it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But no, other things happen.
really cool moments. Lee also agrees that scene was brilliant. Joel says, I was meant to go sit the other day. Oh, this is Jumanji. What else we got? Cool. You can keep bullshitting if you want to. You can kind of... Hey,
What do you guys think? What did you like?
Yeah,
let's
head
get
into
some
our-
positivity going.
let's head into our final thoughts. We've pretty much shat on this movie for fucking ages. Let's talk about some good stuff. Let's talk about some good things. Mark Hamill. Holy shit. Mark Hamill was fucking fantastic in this movie.
He was good.
He was so good.
He was really good.
It was really good. And like, is it like the pain and like the suffering and the like self-loathing and like once again the whole conversation that he's like, you know, oh, because I'm fucking Luke Skywalker. I'm like, that is so cool. It's like it's someone that's been thrust into this hero status literally by chance.
Legend status.
Legend status, sorry. You know what I mean, as it's like he just happened to be the series of events that really weren't all that fucking powerful, apart from like blowing up the ship and stuff. I mean, it's just like, and he's like, yeah, and I had the fucking pride to think that random Luke Skywalker, who has been a Jedi for a better part of a fortnight, you know, I believe I can run an academy.
You didn't even read the books. Should have started reading the books.
Yeah, I think that was awesome. That was really cool.
And the fact that Mark Hamill was like, I don't even want to, like, signed up for episodes 7, 8, 9 or whatever it was at the time when there was no script, there was no nothing, there's no anything, but Luke Skywalker's coming back. Cool, I want to be a part of it. And then when they got the script and he was in episode 7 and makes jokes on end about that, how he's like in it for 2 seconds. And then in this one where he's like disagreeing with everything that his character does, he still brought it and he said, you know, it's not my character, but I'll do what you want me to do.
But that, like, see, and this is something that Mark's mentioned as well. He's like, I regret vocalizing my discrepancies. Creative differences happens all the time,
He's a cool
and
dude. I shouldn't
have talked about it. I like that he talked about it as well, but kind of made everybody go, yeah, this is the Luke Skywalker we weren't meant to see, because you know this is the whole idea of the mindless masses. They're like, one person said something, therefore that's what it is.
Maybe, yeah, they're probably angry with him. I mean, I remember he like had some embargo that he couldn't say anything about episode 7 at all until the movie was out, or he would lose money. So that was pretty interesting. Now they're like, what are you doing, man? You've lost us billions of dollars by talking trash all the time. They're probably really angry with him.
He's like, what are we going to do, not bring me back?
They won't invite him to all the special things.
And I should also mention as well Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. He was fantastic as well. I thought it was really good in this.
I was really impressed by their Force Skyping. Like that they weren't in the same scene, but the intensity and the conversation you felt was real, and they were really having that, and it was really emotional scenes. But both of them were just like staring into space or staring at someone else. They worked out really well, and just the framing of it as well was really good. And
it's that internal conflict of Kylo Ren is like, you know, he had that chance to kill his mum as well, and it's kind of like he didn't cross that line.
Well, people have speculated or said, I don't know where it's come from, that the first movie was going to be Han's movie. The second movie was going to be Luke's movie, and the third movie was going to be Leia's movie, and that Leia's the only one left, and she'd be the one to bring Kylo Ren around to the light side again, and that the whole third movie would be big around her. And now that that's changed, it's going to drastically change what the third movie is going to be. But then again, the second movie so drastically changed everything anyway. People are just like, just whatever, just do what you want. You've stuffed it already. Not me, but people.
Yeah. I like that idea though. They each had their own big movie. I think that'd be really cool. Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, she was good. It's certainly not like her greatest thing she's ever done, but
well, that's
I
what
think
people say. It's like it's her best performance, and she was incredible.
I disagree.
She was awesome in the originals, like feisty and cool. And this one, she's just turning out reading her lines. No offense to her.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not desecrating her memory, but like, she hasn't acted in years.
This is that posthumous shit, right? Someone dies and they're suddenly the best person that's ever existed. Like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Carrie Fisher. I think she's fantastic. I think she is, without a doubt, a very talented actress at her prime. She's great comedian. Yeah, I mean, like, she's done some really good shit and like a good writer and stuff. But like, in no way do I think this was her best performance.
No, but on the other spectrum, Mark Hamill though,
easily his best performance
was good.
Best performance. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Especially again, like him, he hasn't acted for a while. Like he does voiceover work now, but that's like movie acting. You know what I mean? Like you're on the big screen, you got to get back into it. You got to practice. Like Carrie Fisher hadn't done that for a long time, and some people will come back and do acting classes and things that they're out of, practice. You know, even in something that you've done 20 years ago, you still need to hone the skill and get back into the groove.
Let's see what the chat's saying. So Charlotte's bad. They said there was no response from the galaxy to the rebel signal, as you mentioned earlier. Or here, I can't remember. I hoped Luke would get on the radio or something and be like, "This is Commander Skywalker. I order all factions loyal to the rebels to aid." That would have been pretty dope. In the same vein of like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? At the end of it, like, oh man, no one turned up for and then everyone was there, and you're like yes. You know what I mean? Like, so that, like, I understand where Charlotte's coming from. The idea of like, oh man, dire straits, and
everybody, like,
everyone's there,
light speed.
I would imagine we're probably going to see something like that in the third. I think that's a very good third big fucking final act thing.
That would have been cool. No, that's got an analogy. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, even then,
because that was more powerful because we thought no one was coming.
But even in that, like, they only established that in that movie that kind of ceremony existed, and that Yondu was kicked out of it, and then there were these other characters in the Ravagers, and yet, yeah, that landed.
Fuck, I love that scene. Cry every time. Space Traveler says it was better than Phantom Menace. Let me put it that way.
Why do people hate Attack of the Clones so much?
Attack of the Clones is poops.
Worse than Phantom Menace?
Yes.
Why?
It's just written very bad, very bad.
But the Phantom Menace is written bad.
Yeah.
There's no Jar Jar in it. Yoda has an awesome fight with Count Dooku.
Yeah.
You got that where they fight in the arena, and there's the Jedis, and there's all the weird creatures.
It is. There are cool moments with it.
Boba Fett, Jango Fett.
Yeah, Jango Fett's interesting. I like Four Lightsaber dude.
He's not in there. It's Revenge of the Sith.
No, he's in the second one, isn't he?
General Grievous, no.
Grievous. Oh, no, Count Dooku's the big bad in the second one, isn't he? Yeah, like, I understand it's kind of...
Why? I don't understand people hating Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I said...
not... It's as much as they hate...
Yeah, it is to me, it is the weakest of the three. Of the prequels, personally, because I don't believe the love story that the whole movie is based around. In terms of... it's mentioned in Clerks 2, Anakin Skywalker. I think Attack of the Clones is the perfect example of Anakin Skywalker. Like, in Revenge of the Sith, there's actually character growth, and there's something to him. And, like, when he does that transition to the dark side, you're like, although it happens in, like, hey, you're a dark side, and he's like, alright, cool. But, like, there is a bit more there. You sort of see that change, where here he's just awkward.
But Jake Lloyd...
And Jake Lloyd was horrible, too. Like, As in, like, the love...
Are you an angel? Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. Still creepy as fuck.
yeah, well, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's totally worse. But, like, the whole relationship between...
I'm
not a big fan of Attack of the Clones. I think my enjoyment of Phantom Menace comes from... that is nostalgia for me. Like, I do quite like that movie. Not for... Like, it is also not a really good movie, but I enjoy it. I love Jewel. The Jewel of the Fate song is one of the fucking best... In my head, one of the best
Yeah, that's only one
sounds.
thing.
It's one thing. That Jewel at the end. Darth Maul's a fantastic, a great character. I love Qui-Gon Jinn. The pod race, even though it's kind of really out of place, still really cool. I like it how it looks more into the Jedi not being these warriors, and it's about them. It's this time of peace. It's this sort of the renaissance of the galaxy, as in it's peace times. Nothing's bad's happened yet, and it's all about the build up to this bad moment. I find it very weird that there's still no main character in that movie, because who you think the main character is it Anakin? You don't see him for 40 minutes. Is it Qui-Gon? Well, he dies. Is it Obi-Wan? Well, he fucking hangs out. And
It's Anakin.
you know, but like it's very weirdly written.
Yeah, but then
I
Attack
do
of the
like
Clones is more straightforward. You've got diner scenes. You've got libraries.
that diner scene. Okay.
All sorts of cool stuff.
That's kind of cool.
All right, what else we got?
I keep on to that. So Joel says, I like the Kylo ditched the helmet for most of the film, but those few lines with it were hard to understand. I do quite like...
I like Kylo Ren too.
I do like the mask. The mask's kind of cool, but
I like the voice he does.
it's good to see it off.
Like
well.
the not the inflection of his words, but the way he speaks. Like, I do this.
Yeah.
Like he's got a flow to his talking, and then when he's not wearing the mask, it's the same kind of thing. It's like stilted short sentences.
Yeah, very, very cool.
I like that.
Charlotte says Ewok Adventures were better than the Phantom Menace. You know, I've never seen like the Caravan of Courage and stuff. I've never seen them.
And Battle for Endor.
They poops.
I remember them fondly because I watched them as a kid.
Yeah.
They got some cool stop motion
See,
animation.
because in my head, when someone says caravan, I think of like a fucking trailer caravan.
It pretty much looks like a caravan. But with wings
So
and stuff
I
like
remember when I was growing up, like a friend of mine,
Yeah,
John
caravan.
Hickman was his name. He's like, "Hey, did you know there's an Ewok movie called Caravan of Courage?" I'm like, "No fucking way." I'm like, "A Caravan of Courage."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's legit. Like in my head, like, you know, a caravan of is.
Well, that's what
different.
I thought as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that sounds
Like on the
horrendous.
back of a truck.
For years, I
car.
disputed because this is before the internet. So I disputed the existence of Caravan of Courage, and then like as we grew old, we sort of drifted apart, and then a couple of years later, like I found it on a shelf one day, and I went, motherfucker. I haven't spoken to him in years. I kind of want to send him a message on Facebook and be like, hey man, remember that time that we argued about?
Tell John Hickman.
Yeah,
he was
on my
right.
deathbed, I'm like, John Hickman, just so you know, you were right. There is a Caravan of Courage. I'm so sorry. We fought for many years.
There's two.
Ryan Les, Luke's Force Ghost looked like Chuck Norris. He had a really weird bowl cut. I didn't enjoy it.
Ah, yeah, that's what you're saying.
Space Traveler says, I think Rey will turn to the dark side.
Again, that was a cool moment. Like, when it's set up that they kill Snoke and then they just effed up all the Praetorian guards.
Oh, we haven't talked about that scene yet either. That's a great scene.
That one. I was like, yeah, like Rey's is trying to run the galaxy nice and Kylo's kind of evil, but they're kind of like
the
doing
odd
it
couple.
together. Yeah, and what that would be like. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. But then Rey's like, nah, I'm going. And then ruined it. And then it turned back into cliche.
And like in that scene though, like in that room, throne room,
Yes.
phenomenal. Like this is something that cause I couldn't quite put into words what I loved about it until I watched Chris Stuckman's review, and he said it's the wide. It's the fact that it's in one wide shot. There's limited close-ups, but a lot of it's very just wide shots. So you're seeing a lot of it going on at once.
Actual choreography.
Yeah. So he gives us a lot like an old Japanese movie. Like I don't like old Japanese movies. I've not really watched a lot of kung fu movies. I just haven't. I'm not saying I don't like them. I just haven't. So like I didn't get that imagery, but I'm like, there's something about this that I'm super digging, and like them fighting back to back and whatever, and working together to take more guards. Guards were kind of cool, but it's just like the whole. I think it was the way it was shot that I love the most. And the lightsaber in the face was pretty dope too.
Well, yeah, all the stuff.
Oh, and side note, I totally forgot. Like when I was watching, you know how when Luke does walk out with his bowl cut,
yes,
and he turns on his blue lightsaber. I'm like, what the fuck? Completely forgetting that like 8 minutes before it gets broken in half.
You could have a different one. It's probably got a crap ton of lightsabers on the Force Island. It's probably got heaps.
But like it's something that
General
I have to
Grievous
pick up.
is collecting them all.
Yeah, he's that too. Josh says Carrie Fisher was the bomb in Jay and Silent Bob. She was fantastic. Keon's back. He says, "Yo, what happened to Yavin 4?"
Well, they found it at the end of New Hope. They're like, this is where they camp out, so they had to abandon it.
There you go. Charlotte says, think the main character of the Phantom Menace was the Emperor. Well, see, that's what I love. That's what I love about the Emperor in terms of the prequels. As like they're over, like, well, I remember watching, going, "There's no overall villain. Like, who is the over? Like, you know, Darth Maul dies, Count Dooku,
Yeah, well, obviously
dies.
it's the Emperor.
You know, but
like, if you didn't know that he was the Emperor, do you think it would have played differently?
like, yes, I think.
Do you think for kids watching it now, like,
When I was
evil.
young, I didn't put two and two together because I was a dumb kid. So at the end, when you see him, you're like, oh man, he was behind all of this. Like that was for me. Like when I was young, I was like, whoa. And then when I got older and realized it was the Emperor, I'm like, motherfucker. Like that Emperor's in everything.
He was like 35 when he played the Emperor in Return of the Jedi.
Very cool. But yeah, so he's the key antagonist in the prequels. Lee, wasn't he only a senator in Phantom Menace? Yes, he was. He was Senator Palpatine. But the whole point is like he was doing a lot more behind the scenes.
They don't call him the Emperor so much anymore.
Shiloh, The Last Jedi had elements of Star Wars 4 and 6 in it, which we did discuss. Oh, there were 5. It was more of Empire, so it's Empire and Jedi. More talking about Palpatine. Ryan Less, I love the part with Luke and R2-D2. That was beautiful. Like that's a cheap shot, dude. Real good.
Yeah, buddies back together.
It was very heartwarming to see. Like there were a lot of moments in this movie where I did sort of have, because I have such an emotional tie to Star Wars. Like the little, and like I'm a father now. I'm married. I'm old. Like I'm emotional all the time now. Like the littlest shit makes me want to fucking cry. Probably because I just need a good cry. I just haven't done it in a while. So it's like I'm watching the movie and then it's
This
like
would be the movie for it.
yeah, and like when even when they're like bam, I'm like you know, and then it's like when I see Luke, I'm like. You know, and then like Leia gets whipped out. I'm like there's so many little moments of like almost tears in this movie. It's pretty insane, and that was certainly one of them. I forget what Lee mentioned there about good cop, bad cop, but yeah, let us know what your final thoughts are about The Last Jedi.
If you got any questions for us, now's the time to ask.
Yeah, because we'll probably wrap this up within the next 5-10 minutes or so. But yeah, what are your final thoughts, Dill?
I don't think it should be scrapped. Like everyone's like, just ignore it. Like they could. Unlikely. I mean, the Star Wars Holiday Special has been shunned from continuity. I mean, and the other stuff is retconned. But a lot of people are like, they're excited that they don't know what's going to happen next. They got no idea what's going to happen next.
I agree.
I prefer the mysteries where you can like kind of.
Here we go. Lee asked, what was your opinion on the little penguin things that hung out with Chewbacca? So the Porgs. I originally thought the Porgs were stupid as shit. I'm like, why are they here? Why should I care? And then I found out the fact that they were actually puffins, and they had no choice. But they had no choice but to create a small bird character because they couldn't CG them out of the island. No, that's the thing, because there were puffins on the island. So
yeah, there are puffins on the island.
Yeah, so they were like, well, let's make. In order to explain what all these birds are. We've made Porgs. Granted, then they like put the Porgs into the movie because they were cute and like whatever. But the whole they came from a innocent place rather than a marketing place.
Both. But they without that, Chewie had nothing to do.
Yeah, Chewie was just there.
When Chewie kicked the door in, that was cool.
So once again, another character like we should probably do something with him, and they give him something.
Yeah, I didn't mind the Porgs. I mean, the first time I watched it, I missed the part where it flew on the window and stuck to it like Garfield.
Yeah,
I blinked and missed that. I saw it the second time, like.
I like the perfectly cooked pork body though. That was
like, there are moments in the movie where you're like, that's funny, and that will play funny, and that's why sometimes I'm like, how do people make like? It's hard to make a movie because you got to please everybody, but there's things that are like, that's gonna be funny, and it's universal. You don't need to know, like when Rey cuts the rock and it falls down and hits the trolley that they got. The people are moving.
That's simple comedy.
Yeah, you already know that they don't like those kind of things.
Yeah.
It happens. They happen to be walking down. They're like, what's going on? That's funny. Chewie eating the porg, and the porg's sad. And he's like, oh, over here. Oh, there's another porg. It's funny. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be...
Porg's getting in shit.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that were cool. I didn't really care either way. They exist. And then, like, it was all to sell toys. There's one porg toy, and it's, like, this big, and it's, like, $60, and it's, like, made of material, like dancers or something. It's not even a good toy.
Yeah.
Or you can get a figure with Chewie and a little porg. Like...
Yeah,
it's not like they're going nuts on it.
Like they're not Ewok-ing it. You know, they're not like it's like Baby Groot. Baby Groot's everywhere now.
Yeah, Baby Groot is everywhere.
What else we got? So Shiloh also adds, I said Star Wars 4 for the reason where Obi-Wan became a Force ghost. Holy crap! No, you've got a good point. You do have 100% a good point there. One of the big things they talked about with Luke is I think Luke fucking Obi-Wan'd it. Like he did. He was the Obi-Wan of this movie, and I think
Yeah, and he'll be back. He'll be back in episodes 9.
you know, because he says to Kylo, like, oh, "Hey,
See you around, kid."
See you around, kid.
Hey, I'm the Force Ghost. Again, dumb. Okay. For the Force again. So let's say, for example, you project your image there. Now, I'd assume that you're projecting it in people's minds, that you're physically there. I guess that's how it would work. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like Professor X can make in first class, they're in the back of the Jeep, and the Nazis or whatever turn up and open the Jeep, nobody's there, and like, all right, move along. But he's using his mind to like make them invisible to that guy. So if Luke's using,
he's not physically making a barrier, like. But so you're trying to say like is Luke? So everyone in that proximity thinks that Luke's there, but if you're out of it, you're to see people like someone fighting nothing. Yeah. Like, or is he physically embodying himself there?
No, because he doesn't touch Kylo Ren, and like you said, he doesn't leave marks on the floor. So he's not physically there. He can't touch things, even though Yoda did hit him on the head, whatever. Okay, so I imagine that he's projecting into everybody who's there, all the people in the walkers, all the people in the base, to pretend that he's there.
What about the Vault pics?
Maybe. But then he's like, how's it going, C-3PO? How can you project into a robot? He doesn't have a mind. And then... or maybe...
can C-3PO pick that it's not him? Like, is that...
Maybe. But then, not Kylo Ren, Poe Dameron's got the binoculars, and the binoculars can see a Force ghost.
But maybe that's the thing, because Poe can see it in his brain, no matter what, he can see it through other devices.
But it's like Ghost, you know? Like, Ghost isn't there, you hold up a phone, Ghost is there. You know, you've had that.
Yeah.
Where you can see Ghosts when you look through phones.
No, but yes. Like, no, the thing that I've learned from YouTube is that ghosts are only be able to record it in 480p. like there's no high definition ghosts.
Yeah, or security camera footage, yeah.
Yeah, CCTV.
Yeah, CCTV.
Framey and like really shitty.
In this day and age, petrol stations that still use CCTV.
Yeah, but like, come on, look at those.
You get a high definition camera for like $10 and just put it in there, and you're like, when someone robs the place, you're like, that's Barry. You know, like I can see his DNA.
Yeah, but
he's got a blemish that he has on his right cheek, close up.
But like, did you saw the quality of that fucking of those binoculars that Poe had? They were like not even
technology hasn't really advanced.
Not even first gen iPhone over there
in that time.
Okay, final thoughts from Ryan. He says, overall, I loved it. It blows my mind that Disney let Ryan make this movie. It was visually beautiful, which certainly was. And I hope Spock doesn't die in the next one.
He can come back, though.
Joel, opinions on Luke milking random aliens. I think that was beautiful in the terms of yes, he grants he does it to survive, but I think he fucking played it up just like spook out Rey. It's like, I'm the legend, Luke. I'm the legend, Luke Skywalker. He's like,
this is what you came for. Like, here I am.
Like normally he doesn't probably drink it after he's freshly milked it. He's like, all right, take that back. I'm going to pasteurize it. Yeah. And then he's just like, hey, Rey's here.
Yeah, that was played for laughs, and I get it.
Yeah, pretty good. Correct. I think everyone is still overlooking the main thing to come out of the last two movies. Finn, the first stormtrooper to find the droid he was looking. Oh my god!
Well done,
well done, Craig. And Justin's in here as well. The new setup looks nice. And what did you think of the scene with Leia looking like Superman? I thought it was weird as hell. I was kind of, I'm like, it did take me back a little bit. I'm like, I guess she's Force-ish now. Apparently that's happened in extended in EU, that you can someone's fallen into something. Luke fell into lava and he was able to force protect himself somehow.
Did he though? I mean, Leia, like in Empire Strikes Back, when he falls down and he's hanging on the aerial in Bespin, he like says Leia, and she can sense him, kind of like the Force guy thing, and she finds him.
Yeah.
And she is of course the daughter of Darth Vader, so. Yeah. She would have Force powers, and everyone in the Heir to the Empire, which is the sequel originally to Return of the Jedi, she like uses it to turn the lamp off and things, and they've got kids that are Force sensitive. So it was fun to see her use the Force, but it like the fact that it looked exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy is like, why didn't you try and not make it look like something that already exists? Do something different with it. And that she's kind of Supermaning was a bit weird.
Yeah, Joel says she just Force fighted her way back to the ship.
Yeah, she did.
But yeah, so Charlotte says, yeah, I don't get it. Carrie Fisher is dead. Leia Organa is still alive. Mark Hamill is alive, but Luke Skywalker is dead. Doesn't make sense to me. I think it's because they didn't predict that poor Carrie Fisher would pass away.
They should have been like, they should have done the health checks on all of them and thought,
I'm sure they did.
I know, because again, to do the Force Awakens, like Mark Hamill was working out, because they're just like normal people in their 60s.
Yeah.
You know? So Luke Skywalker or Mark Hamill worked out a lot to get thin for the role, and then he wasn't even in the movie. Carrie Fisher did the same. So whether that put an impact on her body, I mean,
I think that, and on top of the life of cocaine,
yeah,
and obviously the passing of her mother, Debbie Reynolds, as well, probably putting some additional stress on her, and because they passed away within a week of each other, so it was really fucked up. But yeah, overall, second viewing, I really enjoyed it more. Although we've sat here and teared it apart for 45 minutes, almost an hour and a half now.
I mean, I don't hate it enough to be like strike that from the record.
My issue that I have is because this is with the internet, how there's no in the middle anymore. It's I loved it, I hated it, or it should exist or it should not exist. That's not how it works. That's not how this would like that. You can't pick and choose that. Like, that's legitimate censorship, right? Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. It serves a purpose, and you know what you do? If you don't like it, you just don't watch it. You don't acknowledge...
But I do like it, and they ruined it. That's what people say.
Yeah, people are dumb. I liked the movie. I thought it was good. The second viewing really helps. So if you haven't seen it a second time, I would recommend seeing it a second time, whether it's in the cinema, whether it's wait till it comes out.
Disney money.
But like, I think you do get a lot more out of it that second time. It gave me a new appreciation of it. To me, I still think it's up there in the top, like out of the 8 movies, I think it's easily top 3. Simply because I in the same vein of I can't remember who mentioned, I think it was Ryan in the chat, is visually impressive. I loved it. I love that it shifted everything in a new direction. I mean, it had some incredible performances. There was some really cool shit done with what they had. And I think it deserves a place in the top 3 Star Wars movies.
Whoa. I think that it's clear that, like you said, Rian Johnson came in and he had his vision, and they're like, yeah, we want something fresh and new, go for it. And he did have a lot of winks and meta references to the audience, where it's like, the things you care about, they don't matter, I'm doing this. And that's made a lot of people
like as Mark Hamill said, this is not going to go the way you expect.
Exactly.
And it entirely did that.
So that kind of has made people a lot bitter. And I would like the tease of like having a little morsel of being like, I wonder what this is, or giving me something to keep me going until episode 9. But then
that's true, because there is nothing. There is no little tease to the next.
Well, it could be like they lived happily ever after. The Resistance kept fighting. Kylo Ren ruled the universe.
Yeah, like there's nothing
whatever.
pulling you to
Evil
the next
still
movie.
rules,
Yeah,
nothing changes.
Because remember when we did our speculation video for
Last Jedi?
For the Last Jedi, and we talked about Rey's parents, all that sort of stuff, which we haven't mentioned as well. But I love the fact that she's no one. I think that's way more powerful than her being a Palpatine.
Well, it plays into the everyone,
Kenobi.
but then again, she's got more powers than anyone. But then Snoke is kind of like, you're the strongest evil, and there needs to be the strongest light. There's always the balance.
Always the balance.
And we found her. We're all more powerful than ever.
Yep.
Some crap. Who knows? But it concerns me that surely they all sat down and said, this is what the 3 movies are going to be like. Whether or not Rian Johnson's like, I don't want to do that. Whether or not they didn't do that. But in these day and age of universes, especially when they're doing the spin-offs and announcing that everything that comes out is canon, it kind of craps in the face of like, we all have a grand plan for everything.
I honestly think it was J.J. Abrams and was it Lawrence Kasdan put in the script like, yep, this is the Force Awakens. Alrighty, what's the next one going to be about? Oh, I don't know.
They shouldn't.
But this is my history of Abrams, man. Like that, as I mentioned at the start of this.
Yeah, but it's not just Abrams. It's like Kathleen Kennedy. It's Lucasfilm. It's Disney.
I think a lot of them were probably very much focused on, rather than the grand picture, they were focused. Look, let's get it working. Let's fix the prequels. We need to course correct Star Wars. That's priority number 1. And like, cool, we've course corrected it. Now what? I don't know. You just want me to fix it. I fixed it. I think that's where it's coming out. That's why I think a lot of Ryan's decisions were like, well, as I said, that goes nowhere. I think he's put it in. So Abrams brought it back. Rian Johnson pushed it forward, and now what? Well,
that was the plan, I think.
Yeah.
But even then, like, they'll listen to the backlash. I hope they do. I like that they go into whatever they want to do, and like, at the same time, you want to appease the fans. It's a tough balance of like, these are just made for the fans, or they're just made to sell tickets. I mean, it is a money-making business. But then again, Star Wars has had heart to it, and it's been independent. That's right. At least the director wasn't Michael Bay. Maybe. But they hired Colin Trevorrow from Jurassic World to do the third one, or the 9th one.
I thought Abrams was back.
Well, yeah. Originally, Colin Trevorrow was hired.
Yeah.
And Rian Johnson was writing the next one. And then Trevorrow got fired or let go, or creative differences. Then they brought in J.J. Abrams again. But is Johnson still writing? Like, there was a time when Rian Johnson was going to direct both of them as well. So it'd be his consistent vision and it would make sense.
Yeah.
Now it's gone back to JJ. Is he going to stick with Ryan's tone, or is he going to go back to his own tone, or do something different?
I think if anything, those little internal bullshits, that shows that they don't have a grand plan.
Yeah. And that's what, like, people have interviewed Rian Johnson. He said, they just said, you can do whatever. And now what's going to happen to Rian Johnson's, like spin-off trilogy? Is that going to happen? Again, because they literally said JJ came in the other week and pitched episode 9. Like, this is what's going to happen. They haven't discussed it, or they've got an outline and he's gone in and pitched what it is. Like, and the trilogy was green-lit before Rian Johnson's even said what it's going to be about. They're just like, we want you to do a trilogy. What is that?
Yeah. That's the industry we live in right now.
They just want to lock him in because they're like, this guy's talented. We don't have to work out, but we don't want him to go off and do other movies, and we have to wait.
So
we want to churn out one of these each year.
Down.
Like, we need it now. We need, because it's like, if he's going to do the first in a new trilogy and the standalone starts Han Solo episode 9, then his first new trilogy episode, he's got to get in pre-production within the next year to start working on it or start writing it, you know? So they need him now. I don't know if it's a good idea.
Anyways. The internet, as they do, it's too much like the originals. We want it different. Not that different. We want it the same. Anyways, close it out, Del.
That has been Pop Quiz Spoilers. If you like what we've done...
Popcorn
Spoilers. That has been Popcorn Spoilers. If you like what we've done here, leave some comments below in the notes. Get on the community and join in as well. And we'll try and do these ones for more movies that people seem to get into. If you've got any suggestions of movies you'd like us to talk about in the future, even if they're months ahead of time and you want to get on the conversation, let us know and we'll give you adequate time to see the movie, and then we'll jump in and talk about it.
Yes, all the links to the socials are in the description below, including the links to our Discord and whatnot. So come and join the conversation in the many other places. Let us know what movies you guys want us to do these chats about. Now, normally it'll be a little bit closer, probably 1 to 2 weeks after the movie. This one was extended simply because I had appendicitis and had to have surgery. So that kind of put me out for a couple of weeks. But let us know what ones you want to see, because we hope to make this as regular, well, not as regular as we possibly can, because it's fun. It's fun chatting with you guys. Anyways,
goodbye.
Say your name.
I'm Dylan Bowden still.
And I'm Ryan
Hasn't
Betson.
changed since I said it at the start.
Gotta remember at the end. All right, bye.
And may the force be with you.
Always.